Hey guys, well, I'm back with another ranking video. I hope you guys like these because I'm just uploading the first one today as I'm filming this one, and I've not gotten any feedback on it yet, so I hope you guys like it. It's something a little bit different, so I'm hoping that you do. I wanted to do my concealers next. I did my foundations first, so hopefully you've seen my drugstore foundation video and my high-end foundation video because I did one for each. I had so many. For concealers, I don't have quite as many, so I think I can fit it all into one video. Hopefully, fingers crossed. So I'm going to try not to talk as much so we can hopefully you know, go through it a little bit more quickly than we did with the last video. So I'm a talker, you know, I get that from my dad. What can I say? That's how he was too. So I'm gonna start with my least favorite and move to the one that I like the most. So this was really hard to do, I'm not gonna lie to you. This might have even been harder than my foundations, and I didn't think that I could have had a category harder than foundation, but this was harder, and I think even going forward there's going to be harder categories. As I think about it, I'm like, oh, that's going to be a hard category. So yeah, we'll see. But this was a hard category to you know, rank, because I just really, I love concealer. I love concealer. I love base products. I love eyeshadow. I love makeup, but I love base products so much. So that's the hardest part, I think. So anyway, let's start and we will get going with this. So I don't know if you guys consider this a concealer or not, but this is what I use it for, as a concealer and kind of like contour stick. So that's what I'm gonna rank it as. This is my Fenty Beauty Matchstick in the shade Linen. Sorry, I took the cap off before showing you the actual packaging. So this is Fenty Beauty and this is the Matchstick, and it's in the shade Linen. And I got this from BoxyCharm, and I'd heard great things about how amazing these were, and some people are polarized on them. Some love and some hate, and there's really no in between. So when I tried this out, I wasn't crazy about it, and it's not necessarily that it's awful, it's just that it's not a great, I mean, today it looks like it could be, but it's not a great concealer shade for me because I like just a little bit lighter shade under my eyes, just to kind of highlight a little bit, and this just isn't it. So I'm just not a big fan of like stick concealers, and so that's what I would use this for, is like a stick concealer, and I'm just not a huge fan of them, and thus I'm not a huge fan of this. This is not horrible by any means. I still continue to keep it in my collection, and I have used it. It's just not something that I go through quickly or reach for all that often, so that's why I ranked it at the bottom. Again, let me just say, these would not be in my collection if I did not like them to some degree. So they are in my collection because I do like them, but you know, there's just some I like better. So next was this e.l.f. Flawless Brightening Concealer. This is a pen that I just recently gotten from e.l.f. and so it has like this little brush tip on there, and you click it and product comes out in the end. Well, I don't like how the product comes out because it kind of like, you click it and you don't think anything's coming, and then all of a sudden it like gushes out at you. So I don't like that part of it, but there's not a whole lot of coverage from this, and my whole point in using concealer is to get some extra coverage. So I don't know why you would need a concealer that didn't have good coverage. I'm not quite sure. There may be people out there who they would love this. But yeah, this is just not my, no. I'm okay with a lighter coverage, like it doesn't have to be full coverage or anything like that, but this just like has none. So why would you need a concealer with no coverage? That doesn't make any sense to me. So yeah, this is not it, and I'm not crazy about it. I'm glad it wasn't that expensive, and yeah, I'm just not that crazy. Next, I got this in a BoxyCharm, and the reason these are kind of like ranked just a little bit higher, and I say these because I have one that's right next to it that's kind of the similar thing, but these are ranked a little bit higher because I did use them for something else, and I'll tell you what. This is the Trestique Conceal, Cover, and Correct Crayon, and this is the shade Porcelain, and so you just take off the cap like that, and then you can roll it up like this. And what I like to use this for is to like clean up my eyebrows, right underneath my eyebrows. It's so nice. It's such a slender, skinny little pencil that it helps me to do that. And so that's why I like this. It's really, really good for that. So that's why I like these. I do reach for these just a little bit more, and that's why I keep them around, is so I can clean up my eyebrows. I don't do a whole sculpted eyebrow like I used to do these days, but there was a time when I did, so that's why I had these, and why I would reach for them so often. But here lately, I don't reach for them as often, but I would use them more so than the Matchstick or the Brightening Concealer. And I say them because of this next product. This is the Jouer Essential High Coverage Concealer Pen. I saw Laura Lee use this. She was like in love with it. She thought it was just the best thing ever. Well, if I got free makeup and I just got to try stuff out, I would probably think it was great too. And I'm not saying that she wasn't thinking it wasn't great. I'm not saying that, you know, she was saying that it was great when it wasn't. I'm just saying that, like, if I got free makeup, I probably like it a whole lot more too. But it has like this triangular shape on the end, so it's not as convenient to me for carving out the brows. I mean, it still can be, but it's not the most convenient. But it does have pretty good coverage. I can't say that it doesn't. You just need to blend mostly with your fingers on this one, and I'm just not a finger blender. I like a sponge, I like a brush or something to blend with, and so that's why that's just not my cup of tea. So I just put these two kind of side by side because I kind of consider them, I use them for the same thing, and I kind of consider them like side by side, you know, brother, sister. So that's why I have them in my collection about the same. So yeah, I also want to just say that I reserve the right to change my mind at any time. And I might like something better tomorrow than I didn't today. You guys know my love for Natasha Denona. I love Natasha. She's amazing. She makes the most amazing eyeshadows. I used her Transfix Matte Concealer. That's what this is, the Transfix, yeah, Transfix Matte Concealer, and got this from BoxyCharm, so I got it at like a discounted rate, and I used it, and it is like super, super matte, and it's so hard. If you don't know me, I have oily skin, so I like a matte complexion, but for my under eyes, I like something a little bit more moisturizing because I have a lot of lines under here, so I like to conceal them as much as possible. So I don't like a matte concealer as much, so you're gonna see a lot of my matte concealers at the bottom, and you know, so on and so forth. So that's just one of the reasons I don't like this. It's very, very matte, very matte. So if you are somebody who likes a matte concealer, I cannot recommend this enough. That it is the most matte concealer I have ever worn. I was looking at the shade on it. It's warm / orange. I don't think it's orange, but it is a good concealer, and I think I could probably use this more for spot concealing than under my eyes, and so that's why I keep it around, is because I think it would be great for that. And her Transfix Matte, or maybe something kind of matte. Can't think straight today, but the matte foundation she has, I got these two, this and that together, and I do like that foundation as well, so probably I could use these two and just kind of like use this as spot concealer maybe. That's just kind of my thinking. So it's not horrible, it's just not what I like for under my eyes, and that's what most of these are ranked by, is how they perform under my eyes. This next one, it's kind of like separating in there. I don't know if you guys can see that like nastiness in there. I don't use this all that often, so maybe it's time to get rid of it. So this is the Colourpop No Filter Concealer. I got this because Raw Beauty Christy like raves about this. She uses this as her eyeshadow base, and I was like, oh, I've got to have that. And so I got the shade Fair 06, and man, is it fair. Like, it is super, super light. I should have known. I should have known. It's almost as white as this. But yeah, so like, it's just too fair for me, and it's too brightening. So like, if I put it under my under eyes, it's just gonna look like it's just too brightening. That's all I can say. And it's also a matte concealer as well, so I don't like it for under the eyes so much. But if it was a little bit darker, I would use it as a spot concealer. So maybe one day in the winter time, if I decide that I need a really bright under eye, maybe I'll go for this. I don't know. But one thing I do kind of like to do with my concealers too is I'll mix a matte and a hydrating concealer together. If one gives me more coverage than the other, then I'll just kind of mix them so that I can get the best coverage. So this isn't horrible, it's just not my favorite, and the shade's off, so that's another reason I don't reach for it. The next one is the NYX Can't Stop Won't Stop. Now, I love this foundation, and it was ranked pretty high on my drugstore foundations. It was ranked really high, actually. But the concealer itself, I'm not a huge fan of. It's a good shade. It's not a horrible shade. It's just more matte, and it's not as easy to blend as some of my other concealers. So it's one of those that I would need to like mix with something else in order to get it, you know, to do what I want it to do. So that's one of the reasons it's just a little bit lower on my list. And it's not horrible by any means. It's just not my favorite. Another that it's not a horrible concealer, and I actually think this is a really good dupe for Tarte Shape Tape. But this is the L'Oreal Infallible Full Wear Concealer. And it's a great concealer, and I think that it's wonderful and it works, but it's just too drying for me. So I have the shade Vanilla in it, and it has like even the big doe foot like the Tarte Shape Tape. So and it has like this little well on the inside there in this middle part here that like really holds the product, which is really nice. But it's just too matte. That's what you're gonna hear me say about a lot of these next few here. Just too matte, so I don't reach for it as often. But again, to go through my concealer collection and use more of my concealers, I will mix a lot of them. So this is the Dose of Colors Meet Your Hue Concealer. This again has amazing coverage. Like, this is some good stuff. Like, this is some high coverage concealer right here. It has a huge doe foot too. And it's not a bad color for me. I have the shade Light in this, so I mean, like, it's still light, but it's not horrible. I could get away with this, but it's just too matte for me, for my under eyes. And so maybe I could use it like down the center of my face, but if I don't have the same shade for under my eyes, it's gonna look a little bit weird. So that's why I just don't like to, you know, use one for down the center of my face and then a second for underneath my eyes. I like to use the same one. So this is another one that I would like mix with another hydrating one. And then I have the Laura Mercier Flawless Fusion Ultra Longwear Concealer. This is not a bad concealer either. I picked it up actually at Marshall's, so I didn't actually pay the full price on it. But it was actually really, really good. It's more matte. It's a little bit harder to blend. I didn't feel like it gave me as full of coverage as I've had by some of the other ones. So it's just like a simple concealer, nothing major, you know, there's nothing horrible about this. It's just not my favorite. And so, again, I'll mix it probably and use it at some point. Up next is my Jeffree Star Magic Star Concealer. I've had this for a little bit. And again, this is a shade thing. I mean, like, this is super, super white. Almost the shade of my nail white. And my nails aren't white. I can't talk today. But they aren't super white, but they are light. This is a really good concealer. It really covers up. It has a really nice little doe foot that holds the product in the center there, so you get extra concealer. You don't have to dip in a bunch of times. It's actually a really good concealer. I just need a deeper shade. I have C3, So it's like super light, and that'll give me a super bright under eye. So that's why I don't reach for it all that often. It is really good though, and it's one that is a little bit less matte than the other ones, and that's why I would go for it. So that's why I chose it. One of the downsides is the packaging. I've had two. Was it two now? I've had two of these now, and they've broken, but I'm not crazy about the packaging because I think it's like cheapy kid looking. The product's really great, but this the packaging, like, just make it simple and easy and I'll be happy. I wouldn't complain. But it's okay. It's just not my favorite, and I could probably mix it again, you know, mix it with something and get away with it. And that's the only reason that it's not a little bit higher. And another one for the same reason, the Covergirl Triblin Undercover Concealer. I like this concealer. It's too light. It's pretty close in shade to this Jeffree Star one. Jeffree's a little bit lighter, but it's too light for me, and it's a little too pink. Actually, I don't know if you can see on camera, but it is really kind of like, it has this pink undertone. I don't have a pink undertone in my skin. I think I may have like grabbed the lightest shade, and I don't see a shade on here, but it could have been covered up because I got it at CVS and there's like a sticker over top of it. So there could be like, it might be covered up by the sticker. But it's okay. It's not my favorite. It's drying, and so that's why I don't reach for it. But it's okay. It's okay. I really like these concealers. I just have others that I like better. So this is not that these are bad. It's just that I have others that I like and I use better. So first I'll just use this one. This is the Revolution Conceal and Define Concealer. This is the original full coverage conceal and contour. I have the shade C3.5. I love this. It really covers great. It's a good concealer. You get a pretty good amount in here. You get 4 grams of product in here. So Makeup Revolution is a really good brand for face products from what I have used so far. And so I really think that this is a good concealer. It's a little light. That's a recurring thing for me. I've started slowly like getting a little deeper with my concealer than I used to. I used to like a really super bright under eye, but so this is not bad at all. I really like it. It's just I have some that I like better. And then next we have the Revolution Conceal and Hydrate. I got this because of the hydration, and I do like it just a little bit better than just this regular one, but they're both really good. This just might be just a tiny step above that one, but they're really good, and they give great coverage, and I don't have any complaints really. I think that they're really great, and I have the shade C3 in this one. So it's funny to me, I guess you can't really tell it as much on camera. This one looks a little bit lighter than this one, and this is C3 and this is C3.5, so you would assume that 3.5 would be a little bit deeper, but it's not. But that's just my observation. But anyway, these are really good concealers, and again, nothing bad to say, and they're very affordable. I just have others that I like better. Next is a little bit different of a concealer. This is my Too Faced Peach Concealer. This is a matte concealer, and it's a potted concealer, so it is in a pot. It smells like peaches. It smells so good. And it's not a bad concealer whatsoever. It's really good, actually. I have the shade Buttercream, and this wouldn't be a horrible shade for me, actually. I like this, and this is another product you're gonna have to use your finger to like blend out underneath your eye, and it's not bad at all. It really gives you a really good coverage under your eye. I really like this quite a bit. I think they're doing away with this line. I don't reach for this a ton compared to like just a doe foot concealer, you know, that I can just reach in and get it. But this is still a really good concealer, and I still have it around because it is a good concealer. Can't talk again, tongue-tied. But it smells so good. I love that scent. And then one notch above that would be my Nars Soft Matte Complete Concealer. This is another potted concealer, and it's beautiful. It really is. I used it with my stick foundation not long ago, the Huda Beauty stick foundation, and it wore beautifully. It looked great. I had no complaints. It's really, really beautiful. So especially if you want to spot conceal before you put your makeup on, or I'm sorry, before you put your foundation on, that either one of these would be a really great alternative. I just like this one just a tiny bit more than this one, but they're both really great. But again, they're getting rid of this one, so this would be your best bet. And this is a cult classic. This is the Maybelline Age Rewind Instant Eraser or something. Instant Age Rewind. I have the Brightener shade, and so it's like it has that pinky undertone. Every time I've worn it in my under eyes, it looks really, really good though. So I don't know if it's like one of those things that kind of adjusts to different people's skin tones or how that works exactly, but this is a really, really good concealer. I'm halfway through, so I really do like it. And I had one in the shade Light, I believe, and I went through that completely. So this is a very unique concealer because it has that little like sponge tip, and so you can just put the sponge tip there, and it's a little different. But yes, this is a really great concealer, and it totally covers everything you need it to cover. So yes, I love this. It's really, really good. Next, this is like everybody's favorite from the drugstore. This is the e.l.f. Camo Concealer. This is a great concealer, and I have this darkest, like, it's not darkest, but it's this shade here. I have that for like cream bronzing. I got it one time when they didn't have like a bronzer in store, and I wanted to do a full face of e.l.f., so I got it to like do some cream bronzing with that one. So it's the shade Deep Cinnamon, but I have these other two for actual concealer. But I have all three of these. They're really good. If I didn't like it, I wouldn't have three, right? I was trying to get a good shade match for me. I have light peach and fair beige, but I still think I could go a little bit deeper, honestly. So not this deep, of course, but a little deeper would be good. The only reason that I don't have this ranked higher is because it's matte. That's the only thing. If it was just a little bit more creamy, I'd have a little bit higher, but it's still a great one. It still gives really, really great coverage, and I really love it, and it's just really, really good. What can you say? Another one that I really like and use actually quite a bit is this Huda Beauty, the Overachiever Concealer. This is a really good concealer, and it's actually, it has a really unique, well, not unique because I've seen others like this, but it has this little, when it's not covered in concealer, it's a silver little applicator, and it's a cold applicator, so when you put it on, it's like really, really cool, so it's kind of like soothing to your under eyes and everything, so it's really pretty. But I have the shade Marshmallow. Again, I could probably use a little bit of a lighter shade, I mean deeper shade. I said lighter. It's a little too light for me, but it's beautiful. Amazing coverage. Like, this may be my most high coverage concealer. I don't know, it's very high up there, but it's really, really good. It's just a little bit more matte. I will say I don't like this with the Huda Beauty like foundation. I'm not crazy about it with it, but with other foundations I've loved it, absolutely loved it. So it's just a matter of wearing it with the right foundation, in my opinion. So it's really good. Another one that I really love, and this is kind of, all of these are like, I have my little plastic containers on top of my desk where I get ready, and these are all on top of the plastic container, every single one of these. So that's how much I love them, because I reach for them very often, so that's why I have these readily available. This one though is so amazing. This is the Flower Beauty Light Illusion Full Coverage Concealer. This is so good. This is the shade, what shade is this? Fair. But it almost has like a pinky undertone to it. It's not as light as some of the other shades, and I think that they have expanded their shade range, but this is actually a really good shade for me, and I love it. And it's just like, it's not too hydrating, and it's still got great coverage, and it's a good concealer. So if you've not tried this, definitely try it. It's so good. And when I reach for time and time again, I'll mix this with a lot of other concealers too. If I want it just a little bit brighter, or you know, whatever, I'll mix this in. So yeah, love this. Another one I love that I have like 3 of is the Colourpop Pretty Fresh Creamy Concealer. I love this. It's very hydrating. That's why I have so many. I was trying to pick a really good shade. The very first shade I had was light 45W. So it's a good shade. It's just a little bit deeper than what I would like for my under eye, so I wanted something a little bit lighter, so I got the shade Fair 20N and Light 40N. And I think the reason I picked some that were just so completely, like, they don't look so different on here, but like the shades themselves seem like they're very far apart, they're very hit and miss on the Colourpop website, so I think that's why I did. But they're beautiful. I love this concealer. I think it's so great. It's very high coverage in my opinion. Some people think that it doesn't have a lot of coverage, but I've never had an issue with coverage on this one. Like, I really love the coverage on it, and so I think it's a great concealer. And if you're looking for a good one that's very creamy and very affordable, I say go with this one. Another one that I love so much, and I have 2 in the same shade. I'm looking at the shade and it's the exact same shade. This is the Hydrating Camo Concealer. This is from e.l.f. of course, the Hydrating Camo. I have went through at least 2 of these, I know. And if I go through a product, you know it's good, because I have so much stuff. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. But these are so good. They're hydrating, like I said. I love the e.l.f. Camo Concealer, but I love these a little bit more because they are hydrating. So they're so good. I love them. I love this shade. I'm gonna have to get this out like a little bit higher up so that I use a little bit more, because it has kind of fallen back just a little bit for some of these others I'm getting ready to talk about. But yeah, this is good. This is really good. When I first used this, it completely stole my heart, and I used it for the longest time. This is the shade, this is the concealer from Wet n Wild, the Mega Last Incognito Concealer. This is so good. This is super full coverage, and I love this concealer. Like, if I want to cover up the darkest circles, this is what I go for. I do have the shade Fair, so I could actually go a little bit deeper on this one, but because of the coverage, I don't care as much. Like, I'm okay that it's not as deep or as, you know, as deep as I want it to be, because the coverage is so good. So this is amazing. I love this, and I just think it's absolutely wonderful. So if you have the chance to try it, I think you should. I think it's wonderful. I don't know exactly what my husband's doing upstairs. It just sounds like he's just like walking around for no reason. Just walking back and forth, walk. I don't know what he's doing, so I apologize if you hear that. So this is kind of a little bit newer, and some people are like, is that really concealer? But yeah, it is concealer. This is the Fenty Bright Fix Eye Brightener. So yes, you're going to get a brightened under eye with this one. Very much so. And it looks really good. And you're also getting that, I feel like you get really good coverage with this. This is not the most full coverage thing I've ever had, but it's still good coverage, and it's very hydrating and very beautiful. I love wearing this with a skin tint. I think that they look so good together, because you're not looking for the most full coverage if you're wearing a skin tint. So this just pairs beautifully. The only thing negative I have to say about this is the component. Like, I just don't love that. It's not my favorite, but I have kind of, since I've gotten it, learned how to like work with it and use it, and so yeah, it's grown on me for sure. Up next is my Tarte Ultra Creamy. This one doesn't have as full coverage as the regular Tarte Shape Tape, but I like it because it's creamy. So I keep it around. I layer up just a little bit with this one. It's really beautiful, and I love the coverage that I can get from this. Huge doe foot. I mean, Tarte Shape Tape is like a cult classic. It took me a little bit to get on the Tarte Shape Tape train, but I did, and I love it, and it's absolutely gorgeous. And yeah, I just really like it. And I will pair it with Tarte Shape Tape, which is right next to it. I like this just a little bit more because it does have the full coverage. So this is just a tiny bit above the Ultra Creamy. But what I have 2 shades of the Tarte Shape Tape. I know I'm excessive, but I will mix this with the Tarte Shape Tape. That way I'm getting really, really good coverage, and yeah, it just looks beautiful. So I have had this fair neutral shade of Tarte Shape Tape for a very long time, and I'm actually really working my way through it. So I'm kind of surprised at how much I have gone through it. So this one comes, and then this one. So this one's just a little bit higher than this one, but they're very, very good, and I love them. And for whatever reason, it took me a little bit to get on the train, and now I'm on it, and I love it. So these two, I kind of struggled with which one I was going to put where. And I'm still not 100% sure. They don't tie for second place. So I'm down to my final three. So I'm just gonna kind of do it. I'm just gonna pull the trigger. This is the Rare Beauty concealer. It is the, I don't think it has another name. It's just the Rare Beauty concealer. I love this concealer. I'm actually wearing it today. This is what I have on today. And it's just beautiful. It's in the shade 180W, so it's a little bit deeper, and you know, it looks really good. Not super bright, but it's still bright enough, and I still feel like I have really good coverage with this, and it's just it's a great concealer, and it's creamy. I love it. The doe foot on it is a very unique doe foot. I don't know if you can see, but it's very chiseled, if that's a word, but yeah, it's very, very unique, and it's very, very cute, and I love this concealer. I've reached for it so much here lately, and it's so good. And I didn't even plan to really do this video today, and I just reached for this and done my makeup, and then I was like, oh, I'm gonna do that video. So I didn't really plan on this, but I really love this. It's so, so good. And it's one of my very top, of course. So I can't say enough good things about it. I've not tried their foundation, but I love this concealer. Number two is the Too Faced Born This Way Multi-Use Sculpting Concealer. So I didn't use this for the longest time because I like that ultra bright under eye, and I wanted something super bright. And this is the shade Shortbread, and I actually had the shade Shortbread as a foundation for a while. But here I've gotten a little bit, which I'm pretty light today. I'm not really matching my face, but I need to self-tan yet again. But now that I have been going a little bit deeper with my foundation because of my self-tanning, I can use this, and I love that it has like 15 mLs of product in here. I love it. Love, love, love it. And it has this doe foot applicator that is very uniquely shaped as well, and it just gets right up in there, and I just love this. I'll wear this with the Too Faced Born This Way matte, and it's a beautiful combination. The two look so good together. So this is absolutely one of my top two. I love this. I don't know why it took me so long to get on this bandwagon, but I'm on it, and I love it, and it's amazing. My number one concealer, can anybody guess what it is? I'm getting really close to being out of this one. This is my Kimchi The Most concealer. And when I first got this, I was not impressed. I was like, no, I don't like this. Somebody else can have it. But it was because of the component. It was like, I don't like this brush tip. I'm still not a crazy fan of it. Like, it's not my most favorite thing in the world, but I can deal with it because the product is amazing. It was something new and different for me at first, and I was like, I don't like this at all. Oh my gosh, this is so, so good. I guess I have more than I thought I did. I thought I was getting really, really low. My shade is a little light on this one, so I do mix this with other ones quite a bit. The coverage, oh my gosh, the coverage. I love this concealer. It's so good. Like, if you're wanting something that is amazingly like full coverage, this is the thing to get. I have the shade, what shade do I have? Light beige, and this shade has been sold out for a long time, which of course I could probably go a little bit deeper, like I said, but so I will mix this with something just a tiny tad bit deeper, and sometimes I don't. So I really, honestly, my mixing combination with this one is Rare Beauty and Kimchi. Like, I'll mix these two and they are amazing. That's what I like. So But yes, I will mix this with a lot of different foundations and I love it. Again, I'm not crazy about the tube itself, but I can make do. And one thing I do like and that I've come to actually appreciate about this tube is that the brush tip, I can actually clean up any of the mess that I make with my eyeshadow. So I actually have come to enjoy that about this. So if you get the chance to pick this up, I say go for it. I love kimchi. Everything that I've tried from kimchi, it has been absolutely incredible. So I can't say enough good things, but yeah, this is my #1 by far. So those are all of my concealers. I know I have a lot, and yes, it's excessive and nobody needs that many concealers in their life. I know that. But I'm so addicted. Like I just can't. And one thing is, like, even though that some of these shades don't work for me, it's like I just can't. It's really hard for me to part with things. It's like I paid money for it, so I want to hold on to it and I don't want to get rid of it. And of course I'll give it to, like, if my sister was here, I would totally give her some of these lighter concealers because she could totally make do with them much better than me. But it's just like, I paid money, I want to use them, even though I know, like, it's ridiculous of me, like, I can't use everything. But yeah, it's just, I'm a hoarder and I can't help it. It is what it is. But I have some really great concealers that I love, and for different occasions and different things that I'll pull out. So yeah, that's just what I'm into these days. So today I put on my Nars Soft Matte Complete foundation and my Rare Beauty concealer, and that's what I'm wearing today. So it's a beautiful day. It's a beautiful makeup day. Some days I have good makeup days and some days I don't, and today, knock on wood, was a good makeup day. So yeah, I'm happy for that. That's a good combination. I have to remember those good combinations so that I can actually repeat them. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know I didn't wait for y'all's response to the first one, so that's probably dumb on my part for not doing that, but I just kind of wanted to continue with this series and see, you know, the response I'm getting. So hopefully you guys like it. And I really enjoy doing these videos because it kind of gives me a chance to talk about the makeup and why I like it, more so than just putting it on my face and telling you, yeah, this is really good. You know, I get to tell you a little bit more in depth, like if I buy something and it's a one-time thing that I use on camera, you're thinking, she's never gonna pick that up again. And I do. I pick up stuff more than one time. I promise I do. It's not just a one and done thing for me. Like, I'm constantly trying to rotate through makeup. No, I don't rotate through it amazingly well. Like, it's not like a new thing every single day, but I try to rotate through as much as I possibly can. And sometimes I find a really good something that I just don't want to give up, and I just can't. So that's something that I struggle with. I don't want to give up my good stuff. So that's another thing I have to deal with. But I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you all are having a wonderful day. I hope that you all are happy and healthy, and let me know what you guys think about these videos. Comment below, like, and let me know what you would like to see. I think next we'll probably do setting powders. Kind of keep with the theme. I kind of skipped over primers. Is that something you guys care about? Because primer to me is a little bit of an extension of skincare, and it's a little bit more personal. So just because I'm crazy about it doesn't mean that you're necessarily going to be crazy about it. But you guys tell me how you feel about that, and if you want to see my primers, I'll rank them as well. So let me know how you feel, and I'll do that too. So thank you guys so much. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.